Okay, we're starting our next step about learning about the SparkFun. That's the name of the company, SparkFun Torch. We charged it up overnight. As I mentioned, the cover has a slightly different name, Spark Point, but this is called the SparkFun Torch. So it's charged up. Just a little more details. It does come with a charger. We will be using the adapter to fit it onto our camera tripod because I don't have a surveyor's tripod yet. And today what we're going to do is we're going to go out and measure out in front of the house. And the reason I'm wearing my yellow safety vest isn't because I'm pretending to be a surveyor. We're going to do it right in front of my house. It's a very busy road, and there's a lot of distracted drivers and construction people, and I just want to be a little more visible and safe. So what I'm going to do is take my Milwaukee 330-foot tape measure, and I really don't care about the compass bearing per se, and I am going to measure out as far as I can on a straightaway so I can see both sets of pins and see oncoming traffic. I'm basically going to go into the parkway and measure out maybe 100, 150 feet, mark it with these pins, and then we'll see how accurate my iPhone is and how accurate the torch is right out of the box. I have not done any of the firmware upgrades. I've not set up for the subscription for the correction service that makes it even more accurate. This is just pure out of the box. Let's see what it can do. So let's get set up for our test. So my plan is I'll put one of these markers down here and set the measuring tape, and we'll go as far as we can until the road curves and measure what that is. And then we'll see how well the iPhone measures it on its own and how well the Spark measures it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down one flag. This will be our measuring point. And the measuring tape has a loop to hold it, but this is the actual 0 point. So I got to pin it kind of towards the center there so that we get an accurate reading down to the maybe the 1/8 of an inch. Who knows? We'll see. So we're dead on right there. Now we'll just stretch out the tape. That's 68 feet already. 101 feet already. And we'll have to pull the tape tighter. I think this is about as far as we can get safely. That's 154. So I'll peg it at 155 exactly. $155. Double check. 155. You know, and there's a little bit of stretch in the tape of maybe 1/4 of an inch. So looks, through the air. Yeah, I'd say we got it. Well, you know what? Just because we're trying to be so accurate, let's pull that up. Pull it tight. Try again. Yeah, that is exactly 155 right there. I mean, to the 16th of an inch probably. And then we'll just put this in as a marker so we can see it visually. Don't need to be as accurate, just want to see approximately where it is. And as you can see, a fair number of cars come through here. So you'd be surprised how many of them put their wheels off into the gravel. So we got 155 feet. Now we need to try measuring it. So now we know from this flag all the way down to the stake and the flag in the ground down there is 155 feet. So the next thing I'll do is I'm going to use SW Maps, which is the application they use to calibrate the torch, just to make sure it works. And so I will do that with SW Maps from here down to there, see what it is with just the iPhone, and then we'll use the torch. Now, since I only have this one iPhone and one camera, and I don't have enough subscribers yet to invest in more equipment, so please subscribe if you like the video. I'm going to do this via screen record on this iPhone as we measure with SW Maps. That's the iPhone app I'm going to use from this pin down to the far one down there, which is 155 feet away. But I'm going to do a screen record and we'll see if we can get some audio on it. So we're using the internal Apple GPS here, and you're going to see in a moment that it will tighten up its accuracy, but in general, an iPhone's accuracy, even the very latest ones, are still only accurate to plus or minus 20 to 30 feet. We're going to start out with a horizontal accuracy that's pretty bad, but it will improve over time. The numbers that you see for accuracy, here showing 85 or 90 feet of horizontal accuracy, that's not actually true either. The software is really doing its best to calculate an accuracy, but it's really only used for comparing to other GPSs. So, you know, you could compare two 20-foot GPSs to each other, and they would give a similar kind of reading. So as we give it a little more time, the accuracy here is going to improve. We're going to see numbers where the horizontal accuracy is down to 20 feet, which is definitely more accurate than it was at 90, so that's good. But you're going to see it when we get our final measurements. We're actually get some pretty good measurements with the iPhone. It's going to be much better than that 25 feet of accuracy that the software is reporting. So again, we're measuring on a 155-foot known distance, and then we're going to see what the SW Maps calculates it to be between the points at the close end, and then we'll wander down to the far end here. And that's the other thing to realize. You'll watch here, the dot is going to wander across the street. I never crossed the street. You know, that big circle around it is showing how inaccurate it is. It's guessing we think this is about where you are, but you could be anywhere inside that circle. So sure enough, you know, I stayed to the far left-hand side there of the road, but it does work better than what those accuracy numbers are showing. So it's going to be more accurate than 20 feet. We'll show it here in just a second. But we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to record 3 or 4 points with the software, and hey, that's not too bad to start. 151 feet out of 155 is the correct reading. So we'll let it do it a few more times here, and we'll see how good we get. Again, it's showing now a horizontal accuracy under 20 feet of error, so that's good. So what do we come out with? Oh, pretty good. Okay, I've got the SparkFun torch loaded. See, I got the little adapter underneath there that allows you to connect it to a camera tripod. And we just turn it on by holding the power button down for about 4 seconds. Get that beep, that means it's booting up. And we'll just take it over to our measuring point. All right, I've got my very crude hack photographer's surveyor's tripod set up. I got a string with a nut on it just to try and be as close to the pin as possible. So let's see what SW Map says now that the SparkFun torch is turned on. So we're already in the software, but we need to connect the RTK Torch to it. So we go in and scan, and why it calls it a rover means it's a mobile device versus a station one that's stationary. So we connect to it. We need to set the proper instrument height down at the bottom. Since we're not doing vertical accuracy tests, it's not super critical that this is perfect, but we do want to try and have it a little more accurate. It is in meters, so there's no way to put it in feet. You do need to put it in meters. And once we get connected there, then SW Maps is going to start using the torch as its GPS source. So notice at the very top it says Bluetooth GNS, and down at the bottom our horizontal accuracy is already 7.4 inches. So when you're comparing 20 feet of accuracy to 7 inches of accuracy, obviously we're already way more accurate than the iPhone GPS, way more accurate. And so that's just the kind of comparison factor. And we're doing a very similar thing here again. We're going to let it tighten up its accuracy down here at the one end, and we will then record a couple of points down here at this end. And notice how the dot is not moving around much. Remember when we were recording with the iPhone, it was moving around a lot. Well, it isn't here. I am speeding up this video also, so it doesn't take as long to get through it. It's speeded up 5 to 7 times. I think because I'm new to the software, you could probably do this entire measurement in just a few minutes once you really know what you're doing, but I didn't. But notice as I wander down to the far points where the iPhone recorded them before, I don't cross the road. And why is that? It's not because I'm chicken. It's just that the GPS is significantly more accurate, and that's the key part here. And again, I'm doing this with no correction service. This is just right out of the box. The torch doesn't have any firmware updates. I'm not using any of the Point Perfect correction service. That's a subscription. I'm not using any what's called an N-trip, N-T-R-I-P service for corrections. This is just pure GPS from up in the air. And those dots on the top right there, those are from the iPhone. So notice as I did multiple points standing perfectly still with the iPhone, it even put me on the other side of a 2-lane street. So you can just get an idea that, yes, iPhone GPS will help you get out of the woods, but it's certainly not going to be good for measuring, where can I put a fire break in, and am I really that close to my property line? No, you could be 40 feet off your property line. Your iPhone's still going to be telling you you're in the right place. So as we measure this down, notice again here, the accuracy is down to 5 inches of horizontal accuracy, significant improvement. But I'm going to tell you up front, we are going to get a significantly better reading for accuracy with the torch. And thankfully so, right? We spent about $1,500 for this thing. It better be significantly more accurate. Now, it's meant to be used with a correction service, so this kind of test is not necessarily what a surveyor would do. But for those of us with farms that are just trying to lay in some points, yeah, this is, right out of the box with no subscription service. So just paying for the device, it is going to be that accurate, which is good to know. It's not always clear from reading the materials exactly how accurate that would be. So now I'm just trying to get zoomed in and figure out how accurate was I. Oh, pretty good. So one of the things I've read in the surveying forums about the SparkFun torch is your results need to be repeatable. So it's day 2. We're going to try turning on the torch and doing the measurement again and see how accurate it is this time. And I always tell my sister in Tennessee it's never windy, and today we're getting wind noise and it's blowing my crude measurement, my little drop wire here to try and be in the right place, but the nail is more or less right underneath it. I don't know how good our accuracy will be today because we got a little bit of wind blowing our pendulum around. So but let's give it a test. We're going to measure from here out to our 550-foot mark way down there past the mailboxes. Just on the left you can see a little flag. All right, so we're going to get her connected again, same way we did before, and you'll notice this time horizontal accuracy is better right away, and that's because we're close to where we turned the torch off the last time. So it does start off its calculations from where you were before. So let's see how it does. Gonna let it, hey, it's already not wandering. Okay, our torch has been recording for 10 or 15 minutes now, and the longer we go, the more accurate it gets. I still don't have the subscription service for corrections yet, but the longer we let it run, it will get tighter and tighter accuracy. But let's see how it's doing, and if it's close enough for our test to move it down to the other point and see how accurate we are today. So again, I'm speeding up this video. You don't need to see me typing this stuff again, but notice that our horizontal accuracy is 2.83 inches. So again, not an exact representation, but it means pretty darn accurate. And I'm trying out the averaging function, which should do some statistics to help us out and get really accurate measures. So we recorded 2 points this time. One of them is just a moment in time, and the other one I let it average for about 100 or so, and that of course tightens it up, does a little statistics for us automatically. Now let's move the torch down the road, measure again, and see how close we are to 155 feet. And just to show you while the torch is collecting data, so I am a little bit offset to the side of the center of the post where the torch is. So my string and my little nut, my plumb bob, I finally remembered the word, plumb bob hanging down, is a little bit over to the side of the nail, and the wind is blowing it a little bit too. But basically the torch is directly over our 155-foot marker. So we'll let it record for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we'll test the measurements. So again, you'll notice here that we are pretty accurate, 2 inches, and the point really is not wandering around the screen when we're in map mode. And I am going to use this averaging technique. It is something that professional surveyors do. Their tools do these kinds of averages to help tighten up the accuracy of the reading. So wow, that's not as good. So what's wrong? Well, I'm still learning the software as part of the problem. I am unfortunately not picking the points the right way. So I got to wander back, try and figure out, hold it, what am I doing wrong? And part of what we'll probably need to have a whole video on is just using SW maps. These survey applications, and I've tried a couple different ones, not super easy to figure out. You know, you learn some basic things about how to drop a point and do some things like that, but when I wanted to measure between the two lines, picking out the right points was confusing to me at first. I have learned it a little bit better. You can actually go through and scroll through and then pick different points to make sure you're measuring the right one. And clearly here we're getting to the right points, right? You know, we're real measurement is 155 feet. I'm now getting much closer to that, right? I'm less than 6 inches away now per the GPS. So take into account that some of the things you're going to need to do if you look into these kinds of high-end survey devices, you need to learn how to use the software properly. And I am struggling a bit with how you add the points and a little bit on how you pick the points to get the software to actually measure it. So in a future video, I'm going to show you how to use something that's called a stakeout, which would be similar to how you'd use it surveying.
So the bottom line is we got some very accurate measurements once I figured out the right way to do it. I was within 3.8 inches. That's probably, you know, believable. I mean, it's I think as good as my tape measure was. So the next thing I've got to do is try this with a correction service, what's called N-Trip. And then there's also a correction service called Point Perfect. So I will repeat these tests before I try it out in the field, but you can see it's really pretty accurate. So thanks for watching. I'll have affiliate links for things that I buy that support the farm in the description. I appreciate everybody watching. Please subscribe. And if you have questions, let me know and I'll cover them in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.